Hey, what's going on, everyone? Eh, Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Deceptilab. This your boy Freeze with the weekly live stream. And today, as a bunch of you guys have probably been waiting for, we are going to be talking about God Neptune and well, not God Neptune, excuse me. We're going to talk about that too, but we're going to talk about Predaking and Volcanicus uh, today. We just got them in playtest. Um, this will actually be my first time trying them because uh, we got them in playtest earlier this morning, and I actually been out here grinding a little bit. I actually been doing some food delivery and stuff like that, trying to add some additional funds in here, pay some bills off and stuff. So this will be my first time looking at it. So make sure you get all of your questions and everything, uh, things that when you see it, that you like, that you dislike, And I imagine at this point, a lot of y'all probably saw what it does on Waza's stream, which is also on Thursday. I think he's just wrapping up right now, but yeah, man, I'm going to give my take on it. I did get a chance to talk with Dale last night and just to kind of work through what I thought of some of the tool tips and stuff like that. So I'll probably share a little bit about that as we go along today, too. Um, but yeah, man, before we look at any of that, let's take a look at this week's newsletter for the event that we got called A Step Further. All right, so we got week 2 of the saga. So we got the weekend event. It's gonna be uh hmm, yeah, 25K per prestige. Um so 20 prestiges total. Some of the prizes you get up to 5,000 prime shards. You're gonna have your 4-star, 3-star, and premium shards, some spark and some combat spark in there. You can actually see the chart underneath it. Some total spark chests, which I always get excited about because you know you can just wind up just kind of stockpiling a little bit, alloy, energon, and gold power cores. So overall, a pretty decent event for it to be a little bit on the smaller side. Like I was mentioning last week, they're doing a bunch of 500Ks to start out. Normal event, so typical battle zones. And some game updates and information. They told you to check us guys out. Like I said, I see a couple people in the chat say they just came from Waz's stream, so that's awesome. I'm I didn't get to watch. I just got back in the house and then I immediately started setting up. So I'll see what he had to say about it a little bit later on. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's anybody right now in playtest that doesn't like this dude. Now we've had some minor criticisms to improve him a bit, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think for the most part, everybody pretty much likes him. So, um, so let's see. War rewards. They're gonna do 3 times rewards. Now it's kind of written a little bit off, but I'm interpreting this as starting with 3 times war rewards today and going on through the 23rd of January. So we should have about a week of additional rewards. Which this used to be a common thing. This used to be something that they did, in random intervals every couple of months or so. So glad to see that. Um, I was talking with some playtest buddies, and you know, a lot of those guys that have alliance families that have lower level players in the alliance family, people need this stuff. They need it to finish alliance HQ. A lot of players are just trying to tread water, and one of the things they need all that spark, regular bot spark, uh, just to be able to compete. So definitely happy about that, and then, it'll encourage people to hit the wars. But let's see. So that's coming. They said all the hard mode loser rewards will also be 3 times as well. So hit those wars this week, guys. I'm a fan of wars. Like at this point, probably the only thing in the game that I do consistently these days is war. But yeah, if you are not a war focused player, make sure you go in there and try to go get all your rewards and everything. Alright, so we're gonna talk about this pretty much the entirety of the stream, but Volcanicus and Predaking are in testing, as I mentioned. They said it will likely come between weeks 5 through 7 of next season. So, and we were having this conversation. So, right now we're in the first season. The seasons are really aligned with Cyber Pass. Have y'all been hearing me this whole time? Because it is showing me as not haven't been talking this whole time. Let me know if y'all heard everything I said about the war rewards and Volcanicus. But yeah, as far as oh shoot, as far as Volcanicus and Predaking is coming out weeks 5 through 7 of the season, next season. So it'll be this saga, but the next Cyber Pass season. And there was some confusion about that because they was like, well, we measure everything in sagas, but Cyber Pass is really what's measured in seasons. So, all right, bundle weekend, Titan bundle, and you get some Titanic class chests, which will give out some 100k Troop XP items, 10k of Z Energon, 5 times your total spark chest, or G Metal Power Core, or a million spark. So each one of those with their different percentages, and they get tons of G1 character crystals that'll drop. Good chance of getting the 3-star, 2% chance of getting the 4-star, or some 5-star shards and spark. And they also got a bundle for Wing Saber and Dreadwing. I need to actually level my Dreadwing because I haven't really done much of them with them yet. And they're also going to be selling them. Well, that's the bundle. They're going to be selling them again. And that's cool. That is cool because I think that is really two types of buyers when it comes to. It's two types of buyers when it comes to this stuff. Um, they are people who can't hit during the original event for the endurance because they have other obligations. Well, actually, I say there's three. It's people who just don't want to be bothered with the event. It's people who can't make the event, and then there's people after the fact that maybe they saw some other players get it during the endurance event, and they was like, "Oh man, that looks like it's pretty good." Like I got a couple of guys in my alliance that started using Wing Saber and Dreadwing already, and now it's starting to interest other players who didn't get them the first time around. So this is giving you the opportunity. I think it's great. I think it's going to get them some money um, by doing that, and so it's a smart move on the part of Space 8. All right, like we mentioned, saga schedule. We got 500k this week, 500k next week. Then we get that mayhem individual leaderboard. I'll probably just do enough to get all the prizes and stuff. I'm not gonna try to go for the BBE and everything. They got BBE for the top 10, and I mean, when you start seeing guys hit like 8 million points for that, that's not for me. But then we don't know anything that's gonna happen in week 5, 6, and 7 yet. Um, so we'll see how it goes. Let's see, and then we get the endurance event, which we don't have any info about the endurance bot yet, but hopefully that's coming soon. Be sure to check out all your content creators, myself, Soldier, and Sunstreaker Waza. As always, some of y'all already checked out Waza, so that's good, but make sure y'all check out me and Soul too. Alright, community corner. I got some cool artwork there, as always. Yeah, those looks like Shockwave and Ultra Magnus there. And then check out Space Ape stream on the 30th, and that's all we get for the news. So let's see who we get in the chat. All right. And I don't know if I got to the top of the chat, but I'm gonna read off what I can actually see. So I see the homie Dark Terror, one of my good friends and moderators, is in the chat. Thanks for joining. The homie Jacada, which I'm sure he's gonna chime in on what he thinks about this combiner. He's my homie from Playtest, and one of my members. Thanks for joining. Big Blade, another one of my moderators and good friends. Thanks for joining. Chris Harmon, another one of my good friends and moderators, is in the chat. And members, thanks for joining. And let's see, we got David Lee in here with us again. Thanks for joining, David. Teammate in there, Supreme Rules. Thanks for joining. We got Big Joe, another good friend of mine in the chat. Thanks for joining, as well as the homie Foxter Bomb, one of my moderators' friends and members, one of my earliest members. Thanks for joining. Brother Concrete, another one of the homies and members. Thanks for joining. We got Ian Adamson, who's joining us this evening. Thanks for joining. Blade 19, one of my good friends and members in here, just popped over from Waza's stream. Thanks for joining. As I know we were talking earlier this week because you got a lot of you got a lot of work you out there doing with that war team. It looked good though. It really does. All right, so we got uh Astralon07 is with us. Thanks for joining, buddy. Another one of my homies from Discord. Um And we got Nemesis Enforcers with us again today. Thanks for joining, Nemesis. Yeah, and then I think we just covered that because Big Joe had made that comment earlier, but everybody wants to know when it's releasing. So yeah, it'll be within the next month or so. I'm actually really excited that they put that, and I was telling some of my friends in playtest how excited I was that they actually put a timeline to it because nothing's more frustrating. It's not frustrating necessarily that you guys are asking the question when is this coming out, even though I do feel like content does come out when it comes out. But it's frustrating when people are asking you those questions and you don't have a clue. So I'm glad that they put at least a basic window of when it's gonna come out. So that means you don't have to sit up there and ask this week, next week, the week after. You can start looking forward to come out within that 3 week window. So I'm happy about that. Okay, yeah. So y'all answered it was quiet. Yeah, it was weird because I said somehow it still the voice still feeds through when it still bleeds through even when the mic is off, which really sucks. But luckily, I only use that for content. I'm not like using this one for work or anything. When I say some stuff in the background sometimes. So I learned to be quiet when I'm using this one. All right, we got Berserkers in here with us again. Thanks for joining. Sivla Silastra. I probably butchered that, but thanks for joining, buddy. The homie C Mark, one of my teammates, good friends, and members, made it to the stream. Thanks for joining. Uh, let's see. David Lee made the comment that says they need to put BBE in the top 250 rather than the top 10, in my opinion. The top 250 might be pushing it because it's individual. Well, you can make the argument that 250 would be cool, but I'll be glad when we get to the point when binary bond equipment is just common in the game and people can just go in there and they throw it in a random event or they throw it into a what's the thing called? They can throw it into the cyber pass or something like that. You shouldn't have to. I hate that you got to fight as hard as we got to fight for it, but we'll get there. I mean, it's still relatively new, but another one of my teammates from the Horror Oil Man is in there, aka Skinny. Thanks for joining, Brody. All right, so we got to go take a look at we got to go take a look at this new combiner, man, or the 5-star version. All right, so this is what we got. I got the level 25 Predaking in here, Autobot counterpart Volcanicus, and right out the gate. And I saw Jacada make this comment earlier, and I had to agree with him. And even though the numbers don't really mean anything, it is kind of annoying when they put the power levels up there for these bots, because they put the power level up here is 5.7K, so you got to scroll through the other combiners to get to them. Hopefully they change that part, but we're gonna start off looking at the other abilities. I wasn't gonna go straight to the 5, but they've actually been changing some of the abilities around. So they got this one Infernum Blade. And hold on, because I actually want to go get. I want to compare abilities to what we got in game currently. So let me go get the one that we got from the current version real quick. But I gotta switch my screen to adjust to it. So just give me a moment, and I'll actually make that larger. Okay, and I need to adjust all of that. And I also need to hit the war. But so let me see. Let me move this and see if I can make it full size. All right. So this is my live account, and we're going to take a look at what we get in here. It's cut off a little bit because I had to adjust for. I had to adjust a little bit for the new combiner, so I will actually. I just want to look at the ability real quick, so we'll take a look at it. So this is the ability that we had at first. We had Infernum Blade, Jumping Strike with the blade, deal 3 point almost 4K damage, 3,894. This is the old version, and target anything directly behind it, which was always weird to me. It was like, hey, anything behind it you're gonna target. I always thought it would have been something that you would have did forward. So not a very good ability, and I don't even know if in its heyday if it was considered good. And they're replacing it with this, and you know, I'm not sure if they are changing all the names on them or anything. But this one looks pretty cool. So it says leap in the battle, pushing back and striking enemies with 2,139 damage, and this is for that maxed out 5-star. So it's gonna do damage in a small area and to those behind, deal double damage to enemies on fire. So that's the key thing for me, is the double damage for the enemies that are on fire, because fire is really heavy in the meta right now. So what I'll do, and let me move this to the side real quick, but what I want to look at is how that ability looks. And we'll do it one time by itself, see how it looks. But Predacon Inferno and Leo Prime are heavy in the meta right now. A lot of people still using T2 and Optimal Optimus. So, and these abilities, they they last a little bit. So if you go hit it with you go hit it with Predacon Inferno one good time, or if you wanted to go use it with say you want to use it like with like a slingshot or acid storm or something like that, where you just want to just keep multiplying damage, then you got something you can use there. So yeah, I definitely been looking at that as like, okay, double damage. And Dale was saying that his intent, I didn't even set the combiner up, but he was saying that his intent was that he wanted to make something that is this that you can just use, and I forgot his exact wording, but basically he wanted you to be able to use it in in large areas and use it in like little clusters. Now, with that said, it might change the range on it a little bit. So, like I said, this is my first time getting the chance to really look at it. I've been looking at the tool tips and stuff like that, but like I said, I was out there delivering food and stuff today, trying to augment some income. So yeah, we'll take a look. We'll just drop them down here at the bottom there, and we'll try to using that 2-star ability. So the range on that's decent. So and the biggest thing here is that it's going to do double damage to fire. We'll come back to that because I definitely want to highlight that. But even still, for a 2-star ability right out the gate, it does look better. So what I want to do, let me actually try running a base trial because I got this little small cluster here in the front of my base that would be appropriate. Now I'll turn on the hard mode and prime league effects because I want to compare it to what the damage looks like when you just use that 2-star ability compared to when you use it with an actual fire, some type of fire. Alright, so I'm gonna drop my bot. Because otherwise, I don't know if it still crashes, but usually it will crash if I don't drop a bot first. Alright, so I'm gonna go target right here at the MDS. Alright, cool. So that's what it's doing. And you know, actual realistic scenario when you got some healing going there. So let's see how it does with a combo of Predacon Inferno's ability, you know, which is Leo Prime for you guys on the Autobot side. I went to the wrong menu. So you can use that same target and see how that does. Because imagine going to use this and getting double damage. I see Shock Bomb 28 joined us. Thanks for joining, buddy. And I think I see a question in. Ooh, okay, got it. I see a question in there already about the 5-star ability. What one thing and I probably didn't emphasize that enough is that this, you know, they did a complete rework of this thing, so you definitely want to. Ooh, shit. At least that one target, and now granted, it was already starting to burn up with Predacon Inferno's ability, but that's some huge jumps of damage that it had up there when combined. And considering that this dude has a bunch of different fire abilities, looks pretty solid. But let's go take a look at the chat, see what everybody's saying, and then before we move on to the next ability. Jacada confirmed that it does still crash when you deploy a bot on playtest. Yeah, so we got a new playtest build last night, and I was like, I don't know if it still does that or not, but I'm not gonna chance it. uh, all right, so Big Blade says that minigun wasn't nice to Predaking. I hope he has a way to deal with them. Um, I say wait a bit. Mm, what we got planned uh, does seem like it might be able to help, but I'm not sure. David Lee saying looks very good. Big Blaze said, yeah, that minigun got destroyed. uh, and see the comment, well, that's only his 2-star. All right, so hey, the homie CF Tactics in the chat, and he make sure you check out his content, dude. I mean, he's really been killing it as of late. But he's also in playtest with me, and he says he's still not Ruination God Neptune level yet. So that's going to be one of the things that we're going to have to discuss because I honestly think, and like I said, I still got to test it. On paper, he seems better Now that comes with a couple of different things that we're going to be looking at, and one of those things, I think Jacada pointed that out earlier as well, is that um, we've already got the counter for fire because we've got the Billbot cores to do the reduction. So what I expect to see is I expect to see a whole bunch of bases that are just loaded up with anti-fire cores. And what I think that will cause is going to cause people to say, well, maybe I should just continue to use God, Neptune, and Ruination. But like I said, if you see like 5 of them, now granted, people have all got their ways of dealing with build bots. But like for me, I use Scully on my war team. I don't want to use his ability 5 times or 4 times to go get rid of, just to go get rid of, Billbot cores and then be starving for other parts of the match. Now, I'm able to manage it, but that's just not my style of play. So we'll see how it goes. So Blade 19 says it's the survivability that's the problem. He's always done nice damage. His survivability is the problem. Hey, and I see the homie Esklohasi had been watching in there. Thanks for joining, buddy. One of my good friends and members. Um, and he said he can't stay for the stream, but he gonna check it out on the replay. Yeah, man, like shoot me a line on Discord and let me know what you think about how I covered it. Yeah, see, Mogul is like 4 skull shots max. So for me, what I actually wind up doing a lot of times, and the thing that trips me out is that a lot of people will go and put their build bots underneath the shield generator now. And so what I started doing, because they'll put it in the shield generator while it's being healed and you can't do it fast enough. So I actually started using Rodimus Unicronus, um, which is Inferno for you guys on the Autobot side. I started using him so I can just take everything out in one shot. But I just don't. I keep in mind I'm just a guy that never really wanted to use Scully in the first place. But then it got so difficult at times to go and even get some of these build bots down. Now I started using Thundercracker for a little while, which is air raid for you guys. No, Silverbolt for you guys on the Autobot side. And that worked, but it took time. So now I got the fast way of doing it, and it's like even if it's in the shield generator, I just take it out. Jacada says Volcanicus has 4 fire abilities, nothing else, and so yeah, nothing else. He needs at least one of them to not be fire, so he has something else to deal with the fireproof domes. Um, Ruination isn't all water, and I did catch that in the playtest chat today earlier when you were talking about that. Um, and it's a very valid point. When you go look at these abilities, I'm gonna go back into the lab and we're gonna look at the next ability. So the 3-star ability, is Fire and Brimstone. Now I'll be honest with you, when I was having a conversation with Dale last night, this was the one that he wasn't 100% comfortable with. But this 3-star ability to me, on paper, looks pretty awesome. So it says for 4 seconds, set a wide area on fire that spreads to adjacent buildings. Enemies on fire are dealt 449 fire damage. And it's times 6 to outpost bots and combiners per second for 8 seconds. So this could be huge. Anytime you start talking about doing more damage to outpost bots and combiners, you've instantly got my attention. And that's why on paper, when I was looking at it, it seemed like it's going to be really good. Now, I do want to take a second to compare to the old version of Fire and Brimstone. So I'm going to pull that up very briefly. Ooh, and I need to find my screen there. Okay. So that's Infernium Blade. Let me go move this over to Fire and Brimstone. So what we had was setting a wide area on fire, dealing an average of 4,248 fire damage over 8 seconds. And then you look at that, and then you go back and look at what this new version has got. And it's just, that's a big difference, man. I like the idea of the additional damage. Now, this is something you can use. I'm starting to see a lot of stuff that it seems like it'll combo really well with other bots. Um, so yeah, I'm here for it. If it's already on fire, then you know pop an outpost or something or a combiner, then it's gonna like this stuff is gonna really combo well, man. I'm really excited about it, to be honest with you. Now I will say though, and it's still interesting to me. I know I was talking to when we were talking earlier with CF and some of the other guys that said it's not better than God Neptune yet. What would it take? What would it take for you guys to feel like it's better? And keep in mind, I haven't read every comment in um in the playtest chat yet. I will get back to that this evening while I probably have a little dinner and stuff like that. But what would it take for you to feel like he's better than God? And that applies to the rest of you guys too that are not playtesters. Let me know in the chat. I know you guys don't really have as much to go on because you've only seen two of the abilities, which is why I was asking the playtesters. Oh, we just had a whole conversation about how I can't just drop the combiner in a base trial, and I went right back and did it anyway. All right, so let's get this out here, and we'll drop a bot. All right, Jacada says I have not gotten to the ability that needs to be fixed yet. I am looking forward to that. Extinction. So fire and brimstone. And then that's one of those things where once again, you're getting large AoE, but it's one of those ones that I think is you're gonna need to combo well. So let's go try it in the combo, see how it goes. I think all of these combo pretty well with acid and fire. I see Jinx joined us in the chat. Thanks for joining. All right, so a couple of you guys started answering my questions about what would it take for him to be, what would it take for you to like this more than God Neptune. CF says an acid style ability, perhaps. The all fire limits him. He needs more health, definitely. All right, so we're gonna take a look at that. All right, so this go around, I'm gonna use Predacon Inferno's ability again. I'm gonna see how it combos. And see, he's already doing quite a bit himself. I probably could have used a different fire bot, but I didn't. So, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff it really combos well, but it seems like a little bit balanced because it didn't take any of that stuff out. When it was healing, so it gets it really close. That might be pretty good to go use as a. Now if you're using it at the front of a base, and I think I'm starting to see something where I think this is going to be a combiner that's going to be good with front loads. Now I do want to take a look at how he performs against outpost bots. So, well, I put that down there testing something. So, I think the best way to do that is we'll go ahead and actually let me cancel for a second. I'm gonna swing old Deluge down there and see how it does. I was gonna say Deceptidog about to start barking because our food's here. Then you can hear my wife yelling at him in the background because you know I'm down here streaming. It's all good. I'll make sure I tell her Deceptidog that everybody said hi. All right, so here I am going to go pop a couple of outpost bots here. And I'm actually going to set them on fire too. And then I'll come back with this ability and see how it does. That took a good chunk out of Deluge, man. That took a good chunk out of Deluge and Beachcomber. That's kind of wild. Yo, that's crazy. Like, is this gonna be the answer that we've been looking for? Man, I'm gonna jump to the chat, man, because I say y'all been having a lot of stuff to say, and I've been reading it, a lot of good stuff to say, and a lot of neutral things, and a couple of things that we'd like to see better. Um, yeah, so Jacada was saying that the extinction is the one that we need to talk about. All right, I'll be keeping an eye out for that. Um, Blade 19 says he should survive long enough to use all of his abilities at least once. Now, this is a conversation that I have with Chris Harmon all the time. Good friend of mine. We talk almost every day in some capacity, even if it's just to say good morning to each other or whatever. Um, and that's one of the complaints that he's had about a couple of different combiners in the game. So I know that that's something that the community is going to want to see. I do understand. Um, I do want to test this a lot on my own to see like how much of it is just him being squishy and how much of it is, hey, like if I use certain tactics I can get away with it. I think the problem that's going to come with his survivability is that they've made him a bot that does so much damage that they want to probably not have him quite as have as much health, but at the same time they've kind of made him into a combiner that might need to be like right up in the thick of things to try to get maximize the damage that he puts out. So um, it kind of becomes like a catch 22. And this is what I'm thinking based off of just seeing the tooltips, like I said, in two abilities. So, um, but yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. And so the flaws I'm looking for the next ability is supposed to be defensively. We'll take a look at that. He needs to be able to chain his abilities. I do agree with that. You should be able to, because we're starting to combine our abilities. But what I found is that the cooldowns, a lot of times can make that impossible. I hadn't looked deep into his cooldowns, but that's been some of my gripes that I've had with you know, other combiners. Depending on how you're trying to use it. Like I think there's just enough time to go combine God Neptunes and Ruinations. Jenks says combos really cheeses your hunger away, and which Blade agreed. All right, lots of stuff, lots to talk about survivability. All right, so Big Blade suggested that I try Swindle. for some of my the tester bots. All right, because he's not going to be as powerful. And I mean, the thing is, I try to keep it. I try to keep it realistic, but yeah, I'll try it. All right, Mario Zombiano joins us. Kind of tried the pushback. Waza said he couldn't get it to work, but apparently it comes off of the flame. Um, he fires after he jumps. For which ability? So we got a comment that says you don't see too much clusters on the base anymore besides the shield generator. It depends. Um, I saw a lot of guys start to go back to front loading their bases recently up at the top leagues. And dude, to be honest with you, it was fucking a lot of people up. And I was like, I didn't, but I didn't understand how it was messing people up like that because everybody's using AOE. Every bot we come out with, everybody's asking for AOE. So for me, it's just drop in the corner, click buttons, repeat for a lot of the stuff where it's front loaded. But people were still having a hard time with it, and I didn't understand it. Couple of shout outs to the Deceptidog in there. Candyman, one of my good friends, Lions family mate, and one of my members says we need to hurry up and get 5-star Cyclonus so we can finish off Galvatronus. I mean, if you want to wait for him for a year like we did for Predaking and Volcanicus, sure. Oh, okay, Infernium Blade and then an Energos Sword. I received a pushback and a update this morning. So yeah, and then if that's the case, then I only got what I got. I do know they made some changes um, while I was working earlier today, but yeah, then that's what I got then, and I'm gonna keep y'all updated as we go along. All right, so let's go take a look. So I'm gonna take a look at the old one first. So let me go back to the larger screen. We're gonna look at the old 4-star ability. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go here instead. And so what we want to do is take a look at the old. So this is the old extinction ability. Um, a shower of meteors bombards a very large area, dealing 5,841 fire damage and quadruple damage to walls. Now there was a time where this was probably cool. Um, but now walls right now are just kind of just pathways, and it's been that way for a little bit of time. But it's only gotten to be more so in current metas because everything's become like a pathing base. So let's go take a look at what we got now for the new version. And so new extinction. Bombard an area with meteors dealing 556 fire damage per second for 12 seconds. Standing within your raining meteors grants you 80% damage reduction. And I think I can already see where we might be going with this. And I just so happen to be getting towards the end of my combiner timer, so I can actually throw this in there on defense. Now, for me, and I said this to Dale last night, when he asked me my opinions about the tooltips, I told him because I don't really go on Cybertron chat like that. Every now and again, I get bored late at night, and I'll just go in there and just kind of see who's in there and BS around. So as I understand it, he put these up on Cybertron chat, and when I saw this one, what I said was, if he's got to stand in his own meteors to get the damage reduction, that's going to put him in too much in harm's way. Now, keep in mind at this point, none of us had the bot, and I'm gonna have to come back to it. I actually want to try that one on defense before I go reactivate the combiner. I got to be a little bit strategic about this stuff. Uh, but I got like a 3 minute timer on this one, so on defense, so shouldn't be too bad. So I need to, but I also need to give him that ability because I want to try it. All right, so it's defensive ability. We'll try this one on the defensive side, and we'll throw him into the outpost. Like I said, I got it set up so that he's only, I said 3 minutes, but it's actually 2 minutes that we can go in there and take a look at him on the defensive side. So Big Blade says seems like he'd have to try to snipe his foes from a distance with extinction before lunging in. So I want to see how the mechanics of this look on defense. So I will bring in Headstrong. And so I guess I probably should have dropped more bots. But I mean, yeah, I probably should drop more bots to see. But I guess, and I think that's where the flaw kind of comes in, because if you were using this ability and you're using it, and I just saw how it kind of just the meteors rained down on Bludgeon, who's Ironhide for you guys on the Autobot side. Like, are you realistically going to unleash that ability? Let me look at the ability tooltip again. Now it lasts for 12 seconds. But he's like, because you have to actually be standing in the meteors for it to grant you that reduction. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling that part of it. And I expressed that when I read it in the tooltip. Yeah, so like if you and to CF Tactics' point, um, you'll lose damage reduction once you get out of range. Let's see. Jacada says the survivability itself is good when he's in it. Being locked into position on the map is bad. If he walks out of the meteors or you use the 2-star jump to another target, he loses the damage mitigation buff. Yeah, and when I looked at the tooltip the first time, that's what I said. I said that's going to be pushing it a little bit because he's gonna have to be stationary, and especially if you get on defense, that's just not an option. It's going to start walking towards um, your different bots. If it destroys one, it's going to walk to the next bot. Like you. So even if you're on offense, that's going to be a problem because let me actually go because the 2 minutes should be up. So even if I use them offensively, if I want to go jump to another location, which is how most of us use combiners, you know, you go jump, do some damage, jump again. Then it's kind of limiting your ability to use the 2-star ability if you want to give them survivability, and that's not cool. That and the fact that like if I use it So now you get this ranged ability. Say I go use it over there in the area, and I need to actually be in that shower to get protection. I think they should just give him the protection. I think if you use the ability, you should just have the protection, and it'll be a lot like how we had with Galvatronus and Scott Rain. And you don't even have to, because he's so powerful, you don't even have to give protection to other bots. I think you should just, if you use this ability, you get 80%, and I think that problem's solved. Yeah, nah, I definitely hear what you guys are saying. It's like nobody locks their combiner in a single position. So yeah, I gotta go back and look through playtest chat, but apparently they a lot of these guys that are playtesters with me made a lot of suggestions. And that's the thing, man. Like that very first day that the content comes into playtest, like sometimes stuff changes too much. Like a lot of times I like to go look at this stuff after work and it's already, obviously we're gonna talk about it. But I think we should take a day before we actually start making any changes or anything like that. So um I'll be interested to see what becomes of that one. Yeah, and Mario agrees with me. Says if he just tweak it so you don't have to be in the meteor shower, then it will be fun. So that's a good point though. He's saying so. Jakeda's saying he's not gonna survive even getting the HQ. Actually, let me go. So let me go, and I'm gonna do it without a combiner or anything. I'm just gonna try to see what I can do with him against my own base. And then yes, then we're gonna get to the empowered Megatronus. I mean, everybody. I told Dale because he asked me what I thought about that ability, and I said, well, isn't that what everybody pretty much asked for when we first started talking about this ability, the 5-star ability? But I actually want to try to see how he does just going. All right, so I'm gonna try to. Hmm, so I'm gonna use fire and brimstone here. I'm trying to get a little bit closer, get up there to that mortar. All right, now I should be able to get to it. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna do a jump, and I'm going to use extinction on that area. And it slows it down, but by then he's lost the majority of his health. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with it because I might have to play around with it a little bit. I can see myself using it. I mean, it's probably gonna change because we've been complaining about it, or I haven't because I wasn't in playtest to talk about it. But Um, yeah, but nah, that's when I saw it on paper. That was my thought pattern is that that's gonna have to change because he's not gonna be stationary. All right, I want to go to the old Oh, wait a minute. There's no old version. We can get ready to look at the 5-star ability, so I can actually get rid of that screen. All right, so now finally we'll talk about the 5-star ability. Let's go into the lab and we'll look at the tooltip. All right, so here is your 5-star ability, Empowered Megatronus. So I'm saying for 20 seconds, surround yourself within an Empowered Megatronus that grants you 50% attack speed, 50% bonus health, and dealing 418 fire damage over 8 seconds. Upon death, a level 20 Megatronus will be applied to your bots for 15 seconds. That's pretty damn good. And I said that when I saw it yesterday. I'm ready to try it. This is my first time actually trying it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But that's got a lot of potential. But when I see him getting an attack speed boost like that, it almost makes me think like they probably could have did it as a regen instead of just a standard health. But he does need the health, so I just want to see how that actually plays out. I also wish we would start releasing this stuff a tad bit early or tad bit earlier in the week because I would have made a video for my members. Now, because he has an effect that affects other bots, I'm going to deploy my team first just to see how they perform after he's done. Now, the radius on this is small. Once again, this is going to be one of those abilities where it looks like you need to go up into a particular. Let me get that out the way. You need to go and be like right up in the middle. I think when you make a abilities like that where you need to be right there in the thick of things, I think you I think you got to give them crazy health, but they made it tough. I can't even tell if they. I'm not even really seeing the effect to the bots. Like they might have sped up. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do some more playing around with that one. But yeah. Overall, it's definitely headed in the right direction. I will certainly be going in to give my feedback on this one. Now that I've actually played it. But yeah, let me check the chat real quick, see what's going on in there. Ooh, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the live chat. So let's see what we get. Yeah, I remember Big Blade was like one of the first people that I think I heard start talking about a Megatronus effect. So yeah, that's what we get. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so we got a couple people in there that's excited. Jacada told me to join the health debate. I can see myself getting into that debate. In some capacity or another. Now, it could go a couple of different ways. From my first impression, it can go a couple of different ways. Um, we can try to make some of the abilities have better range, but at the end of the day, I think it's still going to be tough for. It's gonna be tough to balance if they let him do as much damage as he does. I think he's gonna have to have not as good a health in some capacity, but I think that if they make the two abilities that deal with survivability, your empowered Megatronus and your extinction, if they build those correctly, you won't even have to worry about the survivability. You'll just have to use the 3 and the 4 star, 4 and 5 star ability. But yeah, it definitely needs a buff in that regard. Yeah, see if that it says that I don't even think that mine survived long enough to trigger. And we talking about getting the health boost up to Ruin Nations level. Yeah, Mario says he doesn't need a health increase. I think that I think if they change these abilities I think they should leave it up to the player as to how they want to address the survivability. But those abilities, you, you shouldn't have them darting in the trouble and then trying to, and then trying to, and then try to use those abilities like that are supposed to defend them um, from damage. Um, you got to find a balancing point for those two abilities, I would think. All right, so I see Trax is also one of my good friends and members, and um, Tester says I think I gave a good argument for the health increase and showed numbers to balance more health and less reduction. I mean, if you do give it more health, they're definitely going to give it more reduction, or they're going to start taking away from its damage, one or the other. I think reducing the reduction will probably be the better way to go. Um, but I'll go look at you guys' comments and I'll continue playing with the this bot myself, and I'll see how I feel about it. All right, so I got a comment that says they need to keep it simple, just give damage reduction on every use, and then you can't just spam it at weird times. You have to be tactical. Um, that could potentially work. Um, and a lot of stuff, and I really want to go down. I got to go break down everything. So I want to break down cooldown times and stuff like that, and that's because cooldown times, they affect a lot, and so I see this as being something that works really well with my team. Um, we just gonna have to we're gonna have to figure out like all the ranges and the health and all that stuff, and how that's gonna play a factor. And kind of the same thing like I was saying, Mario was saying that if something has high damage, just had low health, um, you should be rewarded for risk, but some tools need to survive. Yeah. So yeah, and then CF says that some of the updates are going in a good direction, but we're not in a deployable state yet. Um, I mean, and that's why this is the beautiful part about them putting something in test and telling us, hey, we might not do anything with this for. I mean, I take that back. It's not that we're not doing anything with it, but we're not planning to release this for 3 or 4 weeks. This is the way playtesting should look. This is the way playtesting should look. You should have a month to work on playtesting these things, and you should have ample time to just cover these things. Like you got like 4 or 5 playtesters in the chat right now and telling you, hey, this is what we need. These are the conversations we have when we start talking in playtest. And to be honest with you, those are good conversations to have, because one of the things that I, look at primarily, the primary thing I look at is balancing. So you don't want him to come in overpowered, but like the goal is that this dude needs to come in. They said he was going to be on par with God Neptune. It's trending in the right direction. But as far as first impressions go, I'm very impressed with this. There's going to be work that needs to be done. Um, and that's okay because we got to somewhere between week 5 and 7 to get it done. As long as we continue to just work on it, like this shouldn't be a thing that just, you know, fucking 2 weeks go by and we don't talk about it. Like this has got to be something that we got to work on every day. And as long as that happens, I think this one's in good hands. But all right, I am going to go ahead and call it a night. Thanks everybody for stopping in. And I am going to be streaming. Like I said, I'm going to continue streaming on Thursdays. So I'll see you guys next week at 6. If anything significant happens with this combiner, y'all will see me before then. But until then, I will see you next time, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Freezius out.